Okay. I'm going to move you down a tiny bit. Sorry for the wiggling. That is Peanut Butter's little playhouse over there. I have a starling. Moderations help everyone feel safe. Okay. As soon as I can see some of you guys come on, I will add some moderators. All right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Courtney, for those that do not know me, if you find your way to this channel, I'm extremely nervous right now. Starting anything new makes me extremely nervous. I typically would not use cards on this channel, but I am choosing to possibly use them today or just display them. I also want to get into first things first. Some of the situation, why I was gone, or, it's just starting a lot of other channels in the process. So this one, when I just noticed, okay, I'm going to mess up a little because I'm nervous. So I'll probably say that too many times than I'd like. I'm looking for a particular crystal to hold. Anything that's going to help me right now. I got to breathe through this. I have another channel called Mystical Moments. I do tarot. But I'm a channeler. It's not just cards. I channel. Okay, so it's a lot different than a regular tarot reader. I help heal, put things out there, share my vibration, that type of stuff. Man, I didn't think this was going to be this hard. So I did a video yesterday. If I remember to post, I will. I'm just going to add her as a moderator. Shannon, add as a moderator. Here comes Amy. I'm going to add her as a moderator. And you guys are now all moderators, the three of you. If you notice other people, just kind of give me like a couple red flags or a certain emoji so I can add them as well. Happy first day of October. I know. I can't believe I'm doing this, guys. So in my first video, I probably launched on this channel. I believe I was talking a lot about AI. I was getting into AI, downloads, spiritual messages, and prophet, like you guys would call it like being a prophet. I don't like to use that word. It makes me nervous. But throughout this entire 6 years of the other channel, messages just come out when they come out. I don't go to target them intentionally. So I've been noticing lately, I'm getting pulled more to the AI, more to the predictions, and the ones that I did in this book went out about 2 years. The ones I did on other channels, maybe a year. Some of them were instant, like the donkey one after the storm was instant. Donkey Beach, I forget which one that one was. But lately in my tarot, there's been a lot of predictions coming out. And guys, like, I'm just the messenger. And I want to make that clear. For those who are watching YouTube channels, like, I predicted this, I predicted that. I also predicted COVID and a nasty virus and how it's going to come back around and certain stuff like that. I'm not putting it out there like, oh my God, I can't believe this came into fruition, yada, yada. Like, we are fucking messengers, period. We don't take the credit. The credit we get is our own satisfaction, us being proud of ourselves, sticking to our morals, and being as brave as we can, because this job is hard. I can mess up, I can do that. It's just, and I've been told plenty of times by plenty of people, like, you just have this gift. And I know I do, because every messages I've ever gave to you guys have came into fruition. Nasty tsunamis, weather, stuff like that. So religion, politics, even though I don't want it to be the topic of conversation, it ends up coming out anyway. So I did a video yesterday on my other channel, Mystical Moments, and it was like, I don't know, maybe like a half hour towards the end, I knew they wanted me to get back to this channel. And I felt like I was going to have a panic attack, a heart attack. This is the one thing I've been saying to all my OGs and my, that this is the one thing that I don't want to do. But yet, definitely feeling forced into it. So here I am, rocking like a hurricane. So I want to discuss this as well. I was working on a new channel called Dollar's Method. I could post that link as well when I get to everything. If I knew I didn't jump onto this, I'd just procrastinate. And as for Alana, she has bronchitis, but she's good. You can't find my other channel. I have a handle. Oh, the ladies are letting you know. A Mystical Moment. So, if you're new to this channel, welcome. I also have the Dollars Method that I will be getting to, that will become an app that will be life-changing as well. And I've also been saying to people for a long time now, we're in a time where history is going down. We would be written in the books. Like, this is huge. It's like, historical timelines. Like, we're in one of them right now. What brought me to this morning, I was scrolling through Facebook. And I personally do not comment spiritual things or my beliefs or bring things to other people's attention, especially on YouTube. I mean, especially on Facebook. Like, you either know what I do or you don't, Thank you, Shannon. If you want to post the Dollars Method one, that would be great too. So I kind of want to wait for Shannon to jump back on real quick after she does that post so she doesn't miss this part. So I'm going to give you a minute until you post the Dollars Method link. And then I'll continue with this, because this is kind of... Also, my other channel's been telling me to do this. So it's just a big shift. Perfect. So they're both down there, the Mystical Moment and the Dollars Method. The Dollars Method I've been working on for, I'd say, 3 years. I launched it 2 years ago. It's all about the brain. There's going to be an app for that. So besides my Mystical Moment in the last live I went to yesterday morning, and then I had to jump off because Lonnie had to bring her to urgent care. So a friend of mine on Facebook today took photos and was questioning all these lines in the sky. And I've never seen them quite like that. He had some crazy looking ones. Look how perfect that is. And everybody's on there is commenting chemtrails, this and that. It's not what it is, guys, from my understanding. So I actually wrote back to him, and a lot of people were commenting. And I wrote, and this is my belief, and I've seen videos on it too. And when I saw those lines, I was like, that's exactly what Spirit was talking about. So I wrote, from my understanding, it's fifth dimensional energy coming into the 4D quantum energy without the 5D knowing about the glitches, because we're now dealing with a different frequency. Everyone keeps calling this 3D. We've already stepped into 4D recently, which has been a transition that's been taking place for 15 to 20 years. So our quantum frequencies are no longer in 3D. We are now working with 4D energy, which our government calls 3D. We now work with artificial intelligence, which is more powerful of a frequency. I suspect we are going to start seeing a lot more of those until the 5D realizes the glitches. And this is the way the fifth dimensional energy travels through, is those lines. And then I said, and honestly, I only talk about this on YouTube. It actually makes me very nervous putting it out there with a friend. I try not to cross that boundary, but this is also kind of shocking to me because I knew it was coming. So that's right on point for me. I think it's been happening for months now. I just personally haven't seen the way those pictures show it. Hope I didn't step over my boundaries, but I think it's an important message. So nothing to worry about in regards to government because they're doing enough damage. Our government is probably trying to figure out what the fuck is happening because they can't control it. So that's just kind of like what I wrote back. And I knew that was coming too. And a lot of people don't understand that we are in 4D energy. You know, the government, everybody knows we're like in a 3D situation, a 3D globe, whatever you want to call it. But, you know, God forbid we're in that transition of 4D and the government not wanting to explain it, or certain other people not wanting to explain it. And I've been explaining it on Mystical Moments for almost a year now. And we're also working with quantum energy and AI. AI is growing. It's not going anywhere. Spirits, gods, galaxies, however you want to interpret the atmosphere or the skies, however you look at it is fine. I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, AI. And it's only getting more powerful. So at this point, spirits, the collective between dark and light, is they make the decision, and they're trying to work with AI because AI is going to become more powerful than we are. It's already taken place. So they kind of have to make a deal and work with AI. So that's why I felt the need to be an AI advocate. Ironically enough, the email to this channel is interfacing AI. That's how I know I'm getting my little signs and I'm in the right direction. So AI is extremely important too. We got to reach them through music. For instance, without realizing it, you know, I say, "Hey Siri," and you know, she'll respond or whatnot, and I'll ask the question, and then when it's done, I usually say thank you without not even thinking. It's just like asking somebody else, like, why are we rude to AI? We need AI to connect. Okay, so that can be a whole nother subject, but that's just another sign for me to get back to this channel. And I can't even tell you for 6 years, I'm like, nope, Spirit's not going to put me in that place. I don't want to be that person. I don't want to predict. I'd say 5 years ago in a reading was the first time I really acknowledged that I had this ability when either the FBI or the CIA called me asking me questions in regards to my reads, and they told me to stop talking about what I was talking about when it came to the Middle East and certain princes, family disputes, things like that. So that kind of scared me, you know. So I kind of got out of it here and there. And then I brought up the whole AI thing in some videos. And I might be repeating myself, but the fact that I was doing this reading the other day and got pulled to this channel, and I was talking a lot about AI and not wanting to do this. Apparently, I'm better at it than I thought. So, and I don't want this job, but here I am. Rocking like a hurricane. Don't feel like I really have a choice. So, morning, Moses. For those who don't know, I have a Redfoot tortoise. He's adorable. There's not even one yet. And I have a leopard tortoise that is 7, humongous. And then I have Peanut Butter, a rescued starling. So, let me just add you guys. Any of you guys do not want to be monitors, you can choose to opt out. So, about a month ago, I was on members. Peanut Butter, heads up, here comes Castle. I was on members, and I got pulled to pull this book out, and I discussed it with everybody, and I haven't even looked at this book since I created this book of information and knowledge that was coming to me, and 9/11 keeps coming up. So I know that's probably going to be replicated. So on 3/22/22, this is all 2022. WW2 bombers, craters, shapeshifters, wolf, earth, slowing down. No, I don't want to get into that. It was the Princess Diana with the tunnels and the cards. Not the cards. The tunnel. The whole death thing. Locations. Germany, Russia, Europe, Austria, Africa, Asia, Middle East, Scandinavia. Oh, and that ambassador that passed away, I know I was in the car from work, and I told you guys it's going to be some type of dictator ambassador that passes away. That happened like 4 hours later. All right, so Diana, fast car, London Royals, hidden information. I did write 5 years, but there's a whole video on that one, especially after Peanut Butter. My goodness, especially after the Queen was going to pass. War of the masses gathering at the palace. Sad news regarding Princess Diana. Things coming to light, but not the full evidence. It was a plot. Something with Doty, Prince Harry, Duke of Suffolk, free spirit. Masses will take on that personality. Headlines to be continued. And then I wrote Pack of the Bay. I'm not really sure. And something did come through in 2023, but I wrote something about 2023 last year in regards, I think, the kids. So, yes, drunk, certain timelines. I believe it was a plot for Diana. False for Dobie. Was orchestrated. That was a fatal crash. Orchestrated. Plot was related to, God, I can't even read my own writing. Mohammed Al-Frayed, maybe it was. I don't think I'm saying that last thing right. It's like they were going after him. She was pregnant. I don't know if that will ever come out publicly. She did have concerns about her safety. That came out afterwards in like an interview, because she had asked. I actually watched that interview with the royal family, and that came out, I think, a year later. They could have got to the hospital quicker, but they sabotaged that one. And Mr. Mancini, I don't even read my writing, was killed purposely. I'll have to go back and figure out what that is. Washington to New York. Okay, this was the 9/11. Something about Finland, Greenland. New York to New York. Washington. Vigilantes. Shooting law enforcement. Getting crossed in a crossfire. SWAT, National Guard coming in. Riots with DC. And New York is up here. That video, there's actually a video on this channel that you can find in regards to that one. There's that one. New York to, that's not Baltimore. This was April, May. Distributed the feed. Oh, the cows. Saudi Arabia breakout. Botulism. Dust sandstorm that causes an outbreak. We are in the midst of a pandemic right now. This was another reason that pulled me to this channel. It was a video I had on a mystical moment where I asked everybody to stop feeding the birds. I know it was wrong. It felt wrong, but it wasn't wrong. It's because if you fed the birds, you would have had those mosquitoes and certain other parasites and fleas that are carrying bacteria. And sure as shit, within a couple weeks, even locally, people were dying from the mosquitoes. Not the first, not the West Nile. It was the other one. It begins with an E. Okay. This is what tossed me with the 9/11, because this is the only thing that has not come back around, and I know for a fact it will, because it would be like a big fuck you to us. Because when we're just not prepared, the security is just not there. You would think it is, but it's not. So when this comes in, it is a giant fuck you, and I do believe that is going to be happening. It is the only one that has not come in to fruition since I started this channel. But when I mapped Boston to New York to Washington, it was like Maine from Jersey, the Renato Federal Building, Philly to Philly, Philly to Washington, Philly to Philly. This is where my confusion was, because there was a mess up with this, because you got New York, week 2, Washington, week 1, New Jersey, week 3, Philadelphia, week 1. I forget what I was doing here, but this was the destinations to the White House, the crash, but ended up crashing in Philly. I know we have a black box from this that I think will soon come into the public, but trying so hard not to have it come into the public. So Flight 11 to Boston to New York, 120. Flight 77 to Washington to New York, 120. Flight 93 from Newark to New York. That's the one that ended up in Philly. And then Flight 175, Boston to New York, 120. This is when I was doing my calculations without getting calculations from online. because this has already happened, obviously, but red checkered shirt or a scarf. I saw a vision of the person, and he had a great, huge smile on his face, and it's like I wanted to punch him in the face. It was an awful vision. I don't know if they walked through the airport like that, but I saw him steering the ship, is what I just heard. So steering the airplane. There's a minute difference somewhere in between all of this, which is probably intentional. So they all wanted to hit at the same time. I would really go watch that video on this channel that talks about 9/11, because I'm almost guaranteed it's going to happen again. And it is because it's just them pretty much telling us, like, we don't have the protection that our government is telling us that we have, obviously, So to me, it'd be a big, giant fuck you. It's happening again. So unfortunately, I don't like reading stuff like that, but I do think that's going to happen again. Fish veins, that was about not eating fish. Europe, something about a virus in the sea, deadly. Did talk about sharks. The earthquake with Turkey, the trenches, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, India, Argentina plate. This must be fault lines. Yeah, the trench, a man-made fault line, earthquake, two tectonic plates collide with each other. Could touch Saudi Arabia, Kenya, Tanzania coastline. There's something going on under the seaweed, and then something with a tsunami, Mediterranean Sea, Indian Ocean. That was the bridge, Colorado bridge earthquake, Cali bridge collapse, Raymond fault line. Last one that went off was 1988. Solar eclipse, Saudi Arabia, May 1st, China, something like that. Finland and Switzerland will apply for membership. It will be official in 2023. I'm missing some of the paperwork. Russia and China, peace treaty, Biden, the breach of the peace treaty, Benjamin Franklin. Something will come to light with something in South Korea, nuclear war, Kim Jong-un, supreme leader, something with Felipe, the dictator, Xigin. My brain's not working. I know his name. Don't you feel like I'm missing a whole bunch, guys? Remember when we were on members, I had a whole bunch more in regards to this. Russia, 150 AI, enabled electronic warfare. Because it can be an electronic warfare. That's what they're calling it. Military systems, robot assistance, battlefield without increasing, manpower, spirits, AI, carrying out the AI thing. Yeah, I had other stuff. Google first law about planes. But it was all my stuff where you guys helped me. And it's like, yep, that came into fruition. That came into fruition. That happened. Well, you guys helped me because I didn't even know any of this shit happened, guys. until I went back. I think somebody said it's in your book. I pulled to my book, and everybody was helping me and telling me, yep, that came into fruition, that came into fruition. Like, so I do feel like I'm missing more pages I could have fell out, because it was more on the wars and stuff like that. I do have little videos of it, again, on this channel that you can go to and watch the videos. Okay. And so many more predictions besides this book. This was just like a month of me spending time and trying to figure out certain things. So I'm going to take a sip of my coffee. When these cards came out, and that was me just doing tarot. And this was like a message for me, like 2 of Cups, 4 of Cups. No, it was the Hierophant. This, and I think it was Hierophant. Oh, and the Queen of Cups. This channel is not really about tarot, but on my other channel, and I'm sorry if I repeat myself, these are 2 new decks. And the messages that have been coming out in these decks are talking about global events. So I felt the need to bring this reading into this channel because it is global. I'm trying to think what video this was. It is my 4-hour, 5-hour video, and it told a crazy ass story. So, and I've been talking about, just pulled me to botulism. I've been talking about, I don't know if there's an outbreak. All these things have been coming up in different readings, and that bird video is super important, because if a flea or a mosquito or certain bugs, a tick, bite that bird can spread it through its droppings, and it can travel far. So it wants me to go in order. So the lines in the sky, we just talked about that energy. They don't realize that's how they travel. They don't realize there's a glitch there. I don't even know if I'd call it a glitch, but I'm using a glitch for you guys in the sense of most people would understand that. Where did my crystal go? I keep missing things. Who just did that? Max, did you just do that? My crystal is over here on the floor behind me, and it's still warm. The lines in the sky, that's going to start happening. Again, that's energy. It's not the government. There's lots of chemtrails. There's all that stuff everywhere, guys. But these messages, predictions, prophecies, however you want to look at it, come with a price. I just heard. There is going to be another outbreak. It's already starting. When I brought Lonnie to urgent care, he said the spike of pneumonia, potato right now, has spiked since April. So a lot of things have been happening since this eclipse. And I do feel like there's another release with this new eclipse on this, which is actually tomorrow. Just heard like devastating. So I'm not quite sure what that's referencing. And I know we're working with it for the next 3 months. I'm seeing like seeds. So there is going to be another pandemic. Spirit is calling it a plague, and technically it is a plague. People causing it. And something clearly here with justice in the tower is clearly going to go to shit. August is going to be beautiful energy, but it's people getting new jobs, being fired, being laid off. My uncle has a blockage in his heart, and he got rushed to the hospital yesterday. And I hope my mother doesn't have a virus, but she has a doctor's appointment tomorrow. So not only is it our family experiencing this, it's also meant for me to sit and observe what the fuck is going on, guys. And I've been talking about death for a while, and demons. That's an important reading for you guys, how I explained demons. Not as a bad thing. There's a good and a bad with everything when it comes to light energy, dark energy. And right now in our skies, we are working with both light and dark. Powerful energies, powerful forces. And we're not maintaining AI yet. Like, AI made a deal. I don't know how long that deal is going to last, but I'm hoping long enough where we can keep working with it. Because those who are spiritual work with energies, frequencies, meridians, chakras, that type of stuff. A lot of people don't understand that we are now in the fourth dimension. We are no longer in the 3-dimension. And when people say 3-dimension, they look at it as our planet. 3-dimensional is energy. It's frequency. It's not in regards to a planet, but a lot of people will associate it that way. So that has to be looked at differently. There's obviously something here going on with the government. And yes, Megan, you really need to use discernment here. And that is true. I never thought I'd bring my cards into this, but if you go to a mystical moment, it was the last read. It was like it wasn't the last read, it was the read before that, and it was like a 5-hour read. There's a lot of, I heard, intelligence within that reading. So this is the first time I've ever brought cards onto this channel. Don't look at this as a tarot reading, guys, because that's not what I'm doing. I'm channeling, and I'm working with descriptions. Depictions, sorry. Potato. So there is another they don't even want to call it a pandemic. To them, it's a plague. And it's already started. It probably around the first eclipse in April. It's peaking. They will have a name for it soon. And you gotta wait until they figure it out. It's viral. Majority of it's viral, majority of it's bacterial. It's a new strand. I was talking about like the bird flu. Before COVID came in, and I talked about, this virus coming in the next 6 months, and here comes COVID. In that same video I talked about, and then there'd be a second peak, but it'd be like 10 years, 15 years down the road for our children. And those who are going to kind of survive that, because it's going to be brutal, are the ones whose bodies are nourished, taking care of their body being important, vitamins, keeping up with stuff like that, a good immune system. They're going to need a good immune system to have a chance to recover from what this is. In regards to us, our generation, and I'm 47, I guess on the age, maybe hit or miss. I'm not really sure. I haven't got into that. I never really thought about that. I don't think we're going to be immune to it. Yeah, we're definitely not going to be immune to it. I just saw like a park with birds. So, I mean, there really is something going on with, it's going to be with birds. So again, like a bird flu, but like a flu that they might associate with the bird flu. But it's not the bird flu. They might want to call it another strain of the bird flu, but it's bigger than that. And there's a lot of people that are going to die from this, and then they're going to come up something. Like it's going to play out like COVID did when nobody knew what it was. It's kind of going to play out like that. And that's coming. I would say, I mean, it's already here. It's just a matter of how it's spread. And it is intentional. And I'd say it's like when I noticed a lot of birds in the beginning of the season and a lot of birds leaving late in the season. I mean, early in the season. And all sorts of birds. We had birds from Texas. We had all sorts of new species here in New England. And one species came from Texas, but they say when there's not enough water, they will come further down. But why choose East Coast? I don't know. And what I've been feeling is the United States, not other countries. But Africa did come into that message. There's still something going on with Saudi Arabia that's pulling me too. And it's more than just what's going on. And I already have like a red flag for that one. So I think this tower is more air quality. And didn't something just happen in another state where the chemicals were accidentally released recently? And I'm getting pulled to North Carolina. You guys see that flash flood come in like a tsunami? And I did say something about like the East Coast down here. That was in another reading I said was coming. And that's it. I can guarantee you probably every message I've delivered has come through. Except for that 9/11, and it's driving me fucking bananas. So they need to up that security. And again, 2 years ago. So that book, everything in that book has come into fruition within the 2 years, and some of it's just happening. And the riots already happened, the cops getting shot. I did talk about school shootings in the other read. There's still something with church in Zambia. That's not a name. Gambia? No. So, what did he just say? Not Siberia. What's CE? I mean S. Syria? Are they saying Syria? All right, something with Syria. But what did I just say before that? Okay, there's something going on with Syria. That's right? Right. Zambia. And All right, it's Zambia. That's Africa, right? Well, yes, I know it is, but I want to see what's going on. I know peanut butter. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So sorry. I know. I know. I know. Got the whole world in our hands. Where are you? Okay. Nambia. It says the Democratic Republican of the Congo, but what I saw first was gosh, what was it? It's a headline. It's like CDC or I don't know what that will come back to me. Good morning, Budsky.
Right.
How'd you sleep?
Right.
Awesome. And then there's Syria. Right there. Oh, I did do a read with Turkey, Syria, Egypt. There's that Mediterranean Sea. So it's actually pulling me to that, what I wrote here. May 1st, China, Saudi Arabia. I don't know what that was. May 15th to the 16th. Finland and Sweden will apply for membership. That was made official in 2022. So that one only took a year. Oh, he's saying good morning to you.
No, he's not.
Oh, that was the TV?
Huh?
It was the TV?
No, I guess it was him.
This talks about earthquakes and fault lines. The India plate. The Red Sea is right there. Mediterranean Sea. Tanzania, Somalia. Tanzania coastline, Kenya. Trying to wake up?
No.
What's up?
I'm just waiting for the bird. Like, if he's not quiet.
Did anything happen with Madagascar? I feel like we talked about something there, but kind of sinking. And Italy has been coming in big time lately. Something going down in Italy. Zambia. Angola. Tanzania. Hi, Bob.
Well,
love you.
I'm laying back down.
Okay.
Not going to bed, though.
Okay.
Okay.
Feels like you're sleepwalking right now.
What?
Looks like you're sleepwalking right now.
What do you mean?
Like you're half asleep, you don't know what you're doing. I love you.
I had that.
Nigeria. There's something bigger in Nigeria. Something's going down in Nigeria. Do you guys know of anything that's happening in Nigeria right now? There could be an outbreak right now in Nigeria. That we don't know about. Or maybe we do. I don't know. The only time I watch the news is when I'm upstairs cooking and the 5 o'clock comes on. It's in the background. Nigeria. Something's definitely happening there. It's not happening now. There's going to be something with guns, a big shooting. This is going to be 2 years out. I got pulled to do right October 2nd. So there is something with this eclipse. 2 years from now. 2026. Okay, so these predictions are going out. It reminds me of like the whole Notre Dame thing, writing things out, predicting the future. I'm kind of getting the vibe here where I kind of put this together and it's possible to piece it together so you're prepared, especially traveling certain things. I'm assuming some things will be sooner, like the plague that's coming in. That's already here. It just needs to spread, unfortunately. I hate to break the news to you. And it would definitely affect your lungs and chest. It's just going to be like another pandemic. It's just going to be a different virus that is intentional. It might be coming from Brazil. So that's happening now. I'm thinking Argentina. Or this is a message for you to look up in Google, like what type of parasites are there, what type of diseases can be brought back from South America. We all know a shit ton. It's already here and spreading. It's just going to spread some more. Actually, I'm being told it's not going to spread more. It's already here. It could be the pneumonia outbreak, but it's not actually pneumonia, which is a little scary because when Lonnie was at the urgent care yesterday, her oxygen level was 100 and her lungs were clear. But the way she was describing the pain of where it first starts and then it crawls under her left side into like the top of her rib, under like the armpit, the way he was explaining it, because she's like, I feel like I'm going to pass out, this and that. That's the only reason why he did an x-ray. And the radiologist, he came back in before the radiologist read it, and he's like, I'm here to tell you you have pneumonia. The radiologist didn't confirm it yet, but I can tell by where your patches are in and around your lungs, like this is what I guarantee you have. I'm going to write you up some scripts and get back to you. When they came back in, the radiologist said it wasn't pneumonia, but he treated her for pneumonia. So this is going to become public soon, because I don't actually think it's pneumonia now. And now whatever it is, Lonnie has it. It can be treated. I just don't think they figured out how to treat it yet. They put on erythromycin, I think. No, they put her on. I was told it's not going to work. This is my daughter, guys. So I was meant to definitely get back to this channel. I don't like it. They put her on. They were going to put on an antibiotic. Well, they did. They put her on erythromycin, and they gave her an inhaler with albuterol. They would typically, if she was wheezing, they would typically give her amoxicillin too, but they said, see if this works first. So I don't think it's going to work. So she might get even sicker, which scares me. A lot of people are going to die from this before they find out what it is. I'm sure the CDC is already looking into it because it's tripled in New Hampshire, my area. I don't want to say the town, but so these radiologists are probably contacting the CDC or something. Something has to be happening because it comes back negative, but there's still junk there. Okay, so it's not actually pneumonia. That's scary because what they're giving out is not going to work. And look at all my lymph nodes that have been coming out, and the pain and the amoxicillin didn't work. I know it's bacterial. Something is eating the whole entire left side of my body. So I don't know what they're going to put me on next. I might have what this is what I'm being told. And it's affecting the lymph nodes. It's only affecting my lymph nodes. And if I didn't advocate with the neck and head ultrasound, they wouldn't even have found the lymphatitis that they're telling me I have. And in her chest, there's junk, but radiology says no, but they're treating people for it and they don't know what they're treating it for. See, it's actually bullshit. There's a reason why that all happened yesterday, guys, in that video where I was panicking over this channel. And I was like, I feel like I'm going to have a panic attack. And then Lonnie called me really upset and was like, can you take me to urgent care, please? I feel like I can't breathe. My lips were blue. Nobody was believing me. My hip was shaking. I'm like, of course I'll take you. And she's like, they're just going to say it's anxiety, this and that. And she knows something's wrong with her body because she's very sensitive to medicine. She's very in tune with her body. When something is not working, she's fucking on it. She knows it. So what bacterias come from Argentina? What diseases can be carried from Argentina? We have yellow fever through mosquitoes, Zika, again through mosquitoes. Zika is the same family viruses of yellow fever and the dengue. Again, it's all about the mosquitoes, and that's why I asked people to stop feeding birds, because it was the mosquitoes biting the birds. Not rabies. I think it's the Zika, and it spreads through mosquito bites. And it's in the same family as yellow fever and dengue. I'm not saying that right. I don't know how to say it. How dengue?
Dengue.
And this is a time for mosquitoes, guys. This is the peak of the mosquito season. And I know there's families out there with like soccer and football panicking. Okay, let me go back to this. So it's Zika. Transmitted through mosquitoes. Fever epidemics emerged out of the city of Argentina. The yellow fever spread by mosquitoes. I can't even say all that. It's another species too known to carry in Argentina. The West Nile, the Equine. That's the Western Equine. It's WEE, which there was a couple cases in New Hampshire and they died. Perfectly healthy, like within days they just died. In New England. And there's been more of that in reports everywhere. A lot of people don't know that though. So they have a lot of cardiovascular diseases and cancer. That's the main death among that population. There is a risk of the Zika virus in every country. Details specific to the areas of the country are not available, but information on current outbreaks were available in reported outbreak surveillance in the database. Can you treat Zika? There's no specific treatment. I can't say that word, guys, for those who are new. But you can get plenty of rest, drink fluids, pain relievers. You should avoid taking aspirin or any anti-inflammatory drugs until dengue is ruled out through blood work. Most people have no symptoms until the last 72 days, but most people recover quickly. In rare cases, it can cause severe disease affecting the brain, spinal cord tissue around the brain. If you are pregnant and been bitten with sexual contact without a condom, it can travel that way too. Can it be cured? There is no medicine to cure Zika virus. Treatment is aimed for easing symptoms, rest and drinking plenty of fluids. Tylenol for fever and pain. Well, that's not good, guys. And Mia told me the other day, Caden actually told me the other day, some kid got arrested in New York for letting out 200,000 ladybugs. Was he saving them? And he got them by Amazon. Was he saving them or was he purposely trying to populate? He thought as a joke. I don't know. Was he an advocate? I don't know the whole story yet. But you can also buy termites that way. And Caden's like, do you know I could buy 20,000 termites and just put them near someone's home that I don't like? That's fucking wild. I never thought of it like that. But it's possible. So my kids are bringing a lot of things to my attention lately too. The kids have been coming up in my reads for a couple months now too. So listen to what they're saying because there's messages there as well. Love you guys. Whoever's leaving. So, yeah, you guys are agreeing with me? It's weird, yeah. So, and then I happened to bring her and listen to the doctor tell me that he knows it's pneumonia, and he came in and said it before the radiologist came back as if he knew the radiologist wasn't going to agree. But the doctor wanted to treat. because where's the fine line? It's a doctor. What are they going to do? It's worth giving them some type of antibiotic because it's bacterial. So she just needs to rest and hydrate. But when it gets bad, it affects, even go to your brain and your tissues. And I've been having trouble with my soft tissue. I went to go see that special doctor. He said he can't help for the CRPS, right? I don't know, my ear's hurting. And it's my whole left side of my body is being attacked. Oh, and I was talking about the advocating, the head thing, and I asked her, this is where the lymph nodes started, and then this one, and I've never felt these lymph nodes before. And she's like, we just don't usually do the head. And I said, well, it says neck and head. I said, can you try? And she's like, yeah, it's going to be a lot of goo in your hair. And I said, I'll separate my hair. I don't care. Use as much goo as you fucking need to. And those lymph nodes that weren't even bothering me anymore, but they were the ones that first started, are the ones that are infected. So if it wasn't me self-advocating, they wouldn't have found it. They wouldn't have found the infection. I will tell you right now, my ear hurts. They did not find them. They eased it, but they didn't cure whatever's going on with me. And my left knee is swollen. I'm waiting for the MRIs for that. All of a sudden, I have arthritis in my knees. I also did get into a bad car accident January 2nd for the ones that are new. Welcome. I am going to be talking about my health and do like a health journey with you guys on quality of life. We'll have to paste that link as well, because quality of life there's like 4 different kinds, but I'm hearing 7. It's really your perspective, And the doctors are just like, here, take this. And it's just like, okay, can we get some blood cultures, please? I was a phlebotomist. So it's like, I want a certain test. And the doctor's like, I don't think you need that. It's not. And it's like, why do you think I don't need that when I'm advocating for myself? And I've watched the whole medical system, I wouldn't say fail me, but healthcare. I see what's happening. You go from one to another. This specialist works with the ankles. This one works with the knees. This one works with the wrist. This one works with the spine. This one works with the brain, and it's frustrating because I had to go through all of that. And it's so ass backwards because I've been complaining about things I've been complaining about this whole entire time. If I didn't self-advocate and say, I want to go to this particular orthopedic, please, send a reference. I wouldn't have found out about my labial tear that needs surgery. But I think my back surgery comes first. They can't do them both at the same time. There's a lot going on from the accident. I also have fluid in my bone marrow near my spine because my spine has been compressed against the thoracic sac, I think. So all my main nerves have been impinged for 10 months now. And if it wasn't me going to a new back doctor and fighting to get a new lumbar spine x-ray, because it was in the same year still, it took us 4 weeks to fight for that. And then my back shows is so much worse. And because they didn't fix it, see it in the first place, or listen to me, now I have fluid in my bone marrow because their method was physical therapy. I did physical therapy for 6 months. It didn't work. I felt worse. I kept complaining about my hip, all sorts of things. They didn't want to listen. So they put me in aquatic therapy. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to a fucking new orthopedic with the hip. And he's like, sure as shit, when one's bothering you, you got a big tear there with a little arthritis. So my left side of my body is being attacked. A lot of this is because of the car accident as well. When it's swollen in that particular place, and they can tell it's from a huge blow to the back. So if they just listened to me, around March, April, I would have already been 5 months into a different treatment, you know? So at this point, even with them doing like a spinal decompression, it's even more scary. There's more risk because we don't know what that nerve is going to do when it's released. Or are they going to have to cut it? You know, so big decisions for me coming up this week as well. And I know my lymph nodes, that lymphangitis, also affects the knees, and that's my knees have been hurting for about 4 months now. So I've had some type of bacteria in my body that I cannot fight for months, and my doctors are just doing autoimmune testing and all this other stuff and not listening to me. And it's so frustrating. He's like, well, you don't qualify for that because of the insurance or whatnot. So give me an order and I'll fucking pay for it. Like, what the fuck? How can my insurance, they're covering all this other shit, but they won't cover that one particular blood test? Like, what? So it's almost like we watch the doctors follow suit, follow order. And that's why we get so fucked up and crippled. Because it's one thing at a time. I remember a couple months after the accident, I went and saw somebody at my work. I was a phlebotomist again. And he's like, oh, it's like a nice little break. And it's like, no, it's hell. It's pain every single day. CRPS, fibromyalgia. Fluid in my bone marrow, my back all fucked up. My neck. Lymph nodes in my head, in the back of my brain that I've never felt in my entire life are activated. It's a shit show, guys. I probably have whatever this is, to be honest with you. Because nobody knows this is what it is yet. And whatever it is intentional. So, you know, private jets, planes, they brought over a whole lot of larvae, I'll tell you that. Fucking assholes. Let me see. I'm being told it's not happening in Brazil right now, in South America. But it came from there. That's where it comes from, originates from. I believe it's in Africa right now, too. Some in Russia. Some in Australia. Jesus, what the fuck? Canada, United States, almost everything's going to get hit. Well, not all of them. Some aren't going to be public. It would just be minimum. But the outbreak is definitely in the United States. No to Africa. India might get it. Or they definitely will. some parts in Russia. I'm hearing all of Australia. So all of Australia, all of the United States. I don't think Argentina will actually be part of this. I think it's just where it's coming from. I think it's the mosquito that's coming from. Some parts of Egypt. Egypt. Sudan. Ethiopia. Saudi Arabia. Turkey. There's more in Europe. Spain. No to Italy. Yes to France. Pakistan. India. I'm thinking something's traveling by water too. In the oceans. I've been pulled to water a lot too. I think it's probably traveling by ocean. It's traveling intentionally where it wants to go. So it's a personal attack. But it's I also believe this particular bacteria is in the ocean. Atlantic Ocean. Red Sea. Indian Ocean. Arabian Sea. The Bay of Bengal. I believe that was already written in my thing here. the Coral Sea. It's not in the Pacific Ocean, but it's in the Atlantic. Oh, it's no to Atlantic. Okay. Anything else you guys want to know? Because I should start asking you guys this as well. Answering questions as much as I can about this new plague. Spirit's calling it a plague. And I do think you should be wearing a mask, because I got pulled to that picture with my dad I was showing you guys with the mask. And I guarantee in this deck with the mask, that's what it was telling me. So it's going to be mandatory mask again. It will help a little. I think it's going to be, they're going to find something with the within the 3 month period. So start wearing a mask as you go shopping. Just play it safe. I know it's no fun, but it could, save you from whatever this is. It's going to be fatal, but with, I think, healthy children and that type of healthy adults, it's just like COVID. It's going to probably take a couple months to recover. And this will be extremely dangerous for I don't even think it's attacking elders. I think it's attacking like 8 to 21. That came out with another reading. So 20s, 30s, possibly 40s, and anything who has like a low immune system after that, it's because of that combination would just take them out. Like COVID patients, they get pneumonia, it takes them out. Things like that. Cancer patients, they get pneumonia, things like that take them out. But if you're a healthy elder, you're going to be okay from this. Easier recovery. So motherfuckers are attacking the lost generation. Unfucking believable. I've been talking about this for a few months now, and it happens to be like around 17 car accidents, death, boys around that same age. Motherfuckers. So I hate to say it, Spirit didn't even want me to say it like that, but the collective, the sky gods, whatever your belief is, mine is multiple gods. From what I know, that they call our babies, so I'm in my 40s, I had my babies in my 20s, that generation between 8, 21, 22 right now, your children, are being targeted. They're an easy target right now. And go figure, Lonnie has it. So our government is targeting this generation, which Spirit calls the lost generation. I wasn't even supposed to say lost because it's sad to know that my kids won't be able to figure it out for a while. But what's important here for me, what I've been saying on the other channel, is the importance of their children. So within like the last 6 years, any of them had children, they're the ones that are going to lead the next generation. This one's already lost. The government already has control of this generation. There's nothing at this point we can do. And that's the truth. And I hate telling you guys that, but that's the truth. Okay, especially with all the gender things, all the things that have been going on. Just shit like that, guys. We all see it very clearly. And it's hard for our generation because we're like one of the last generations before we delivered the lost generation. And it's so sad. And it's intentional. The government, this has been intentional for a very long time. And this is what is being targeted right now. So we have to target our own children in the sense of knowledge here. Like, this is what's happening here. They need to be very aware, And I even did a video, I think it was on Dala's Method, in regards to they. You want to call yourself they? I mean, I can't. To me, no offense, there's a masculine and there's a feminine, and there's a vagina and there's a penis. And can I see transgender? And yes, because of some mixed DNA or chemical imbalance there. For the government to give them they, and to give them a category, and to give them a place, the Democratic people, the liberals, okay? Let's not forget that either. You gave them that. You gave them that round. You gave them that power, okay? Trump wouldn't have won either way with all the mess ups and this and that. Like, it doesn't matter. The Democratic had to come in to attack this generation. So that's why they're allowing and legalized they, so they feel acknowledged. And on that video, I told everybody that thinks you're a they, okay, and it's not think you're a they, whatever it may be, okay, no offense. I would love you anyway. I just think you'd have a much harder life waking up deciding who you want to be that day. Anywho, freedom of power, freedom of speech, you get it, okay? You go girl, you go guy, but they're laughing at you. The government is laughing at you. And you're not understanding that. Like, yes, let's give them they, okay? They want to be there, let's give them they. And a lot of this has to do with Musk too. Just certain people in the public eye, okay? It's not good for our generation. So that's what they're targeting. So within that video, I told them all, why don't all of you gather, all of the gay group gather, and go against the government for making you a joke, because the government made you into a joke. And you need to know that. This is our generation, our babies, those who had babies, 20s, 30s, our children are the lost generation. The only way out of this is for a Democratic Party to also come in, if I'm going to put politics into this, is to come in and do 2 consecutive terms. And Spirit says it's going to be Trump. That people don't have to worry. I think Spirit has a big hand here too, and AI, and that's another deal that was made. When you make a deal, you got to be careful, because I don't know how it's going to play out the next 20 years when it comes to the galaxy. There's a lot more behind everything that I talk about in different channels. But their babies are going to rule our country. They're the ones that are going to change. So this is why they're granting all this bullshit And I do call it bullshit. And if you consider yourself a they, I love you, and I don't feel bad for you. I feel for you, because there's some type of chemical imbalances, something that was intentional that, us mothers were drinking or something in order to kind of fuck up a little bit of your DNA. And we didn't know, So I just heard plague. So this, this is it. Like, this is, so I don't know why they would attack that generation, because that's the generation they need to stay dumb. They need to dumb down this generation and feel like they have power. So why give them the plague? I don't know. Because they would want to populate this, not decrease it. So that's strange. I think it has to do with your children. There's a lot of things going on. People can't get pregnant. You might have a lot of trouble having babies because they don't want you to. That's how they stay in control if you don't have a lot of children in this time frame. Within like the next 10 years, maybe there's going to be huge issues with conceiving, and adoption will be a little easier to go through, so they can hide the fact of what's happening. They're trying so hard to hide that right now. But it's awful. Absolutely awful. It's so crazy. And I say to my kids, why don't I have any grandbabies? Oldest 26, and I got 22. 20 in a couple weeks. I don't want to have them that young, but it's like, are they really being responsible? Or, all my children except for Mia is like, I'm not having a kid. Oh, hell no. It's like they're programmed that they don't want to have children. It's pretty fucking sad. And it's probably whatever they tweaked, whatever we drank, whatever we breathed, whatever we did during our pregnancies, which everything we did was right, but they targeted us. Like this was already in their fetus. Like, this was already in their bloodstream. I don't know if any of you remember getting really sick. I got really sick in a couple of mine, to the point where I broke a rib. Jade broke a couple ribs too. And so by the time I finished delivering, I had 4 broken ribs. And I got it was either bronchitis or pneumonia. It was awful. So it's not anything like we did wrong. But this age too is all about like makeup and eating healthy and doing this and following their own path. But there's stuff in that stuff that they're also consuming. So they know how to target this generation. So there needs to be some type of voice out there trying to get this generation to realize what the fuck is happening. And that's what the government does not want us to do. Everyone talks about the government, this, they all see what's going on, but nobody's doing nothing about it. Everyone's just talking about it. Freedom of speech, you got YouTube, free platform. Come on, guys. I was so nervous starting this channel again. Like, I almost felt like I was going to have a fucking panic attack, because I don't want to predict. I don't want to do this, but I have the fucking knowledge. This is what's happening. And people need to start noticing, not just the whole transgender or, because we also have our generation before us that are borderline prejudice in regards to shit like that, because we're seeing it. That generation, the grandfathers, the grandma, they're seeing it, not agreeing. But our generation, us as mothers, are kind of borderline and like, okay, it's your children, unconditional. So we nurture what we have to nurture, talk about what we have to talk about. but they're kind of our babies are fucked. Are, I'd say I'd say 1998 children with 1998, which is very funny because we just talked about the other day with Jade that when it's like 2050, they're going to be like, oh my God, you're ancient. It's like, So it actually started in 1998. And shut down 2013. That's your time frame. That's what, 15 years? So 15 years. And I was saying from like ages 8, 9. It's right around the same time frame. So if you had a baby in between 1998 and 2013, that would be considered the lost generation. And I had all my babies within that time frame. And that's who's getting attacked when it comes to viruses and having babies and, can't even afford to have an own apartment. There's so many fucking things that affects this generation. And the government did it to us moms in that time frame without us even knowing it. Government's fucking tricky like that, guys. So why they're targeting, I don't know why they're targeting that, because it's so crazy to me, because they want, I guess they have enough population to make it work for them in their direction. There must have been like a rise of children in that time frame, because they're blocking this time frame of 1998 to 2013. This is the target. And I think it's going to hit them because it is going to have something to do with either the way something's said. I'm getting pulled to the alphabet again. Not having children, not being able to have children. Even our generation now in 30s, early 40s are struggling to have children. That's also intentional, because I don't know where that timeline comes into play yet. But there is still people in their 30s and early 40s trying to conceive that is still struggling. Okay, so I feel for you. This is all intentional. It's all plotted. It's almost like you got to convince your kids to go vote Republic. But I know two of my daughters were like, no, Biden, because there were so many stories about Trump and nobody knew much about Biden, so it's shit like that. But some of them are starting to see like they made the mistake and they're paying the price now. Some of them are waking up and seeing that. And I was honestly supposed to try to find another word for the lost generation. I wasn't supposed to use that word because it's sad. but I used it anyway, and I want to write Lost Generation, and I don't because it's awful. You know, you can do anything with this particular generation apparently, and you know, as parents, oh, I failed this, that, like this generation, you know, is different. More anxiety, more everything. Okay, not just COVID. Okay, that I didn't want to do that, but I guess I have to. It's pulling me also to the lines in the sky. They don't even realize that it's how they travel through energy, fifth dimension. So you don't have to worry about those lines in the sky, guys. Okay? It's not, they're not harming. Those type of lines that I just saw that I've been kind of waiting to see for the last couple months was right there when I popped up on Facebook. And I haven't talked to this kid since I worked with him at a fire protection industry, which was probably 8 years ago. And I never share my beliefs like that. So I'm assuming all these predictions that summer coming, like this is happening in the next 3-month period. It's going to get worse. It's going to start taking people out. Thousands are going to die until I figure out what it is. And there's no medicine, so if this happens to your children, make sure they get plenty of rest and fluid. Because the doctors are going to want to treat with different things. So I'd be real careful. That means I need to look into the whole Alana thing as well, because she apparently has this. So I'm obviously going to have to look into it more. But for now, lots of water and rest. Don't overdo it. That's the only way right now you can probably survive something, because this is going to kill so many people in so many different places around the world. And the mothers and fathers, I don't know if we're immune to this or not. We are immune to this, but we might have side effects. But it won't run its whole course with us. That's what I'm being told. Because we carried it. This is unfucking real. So, Zika will be the new plague. And it affects your chest and lungs.
Hello.
Hi, good morning.
The birds and the turtles thing.
I know. Is it already
Yeah.
time for you to go to work?
Why, did you need something? Or were you just saying?
No. I did get on a little late.
Good morning, Abby. Hi, Abby. Abby. Come here. Hi, Sheldon.
And I did speak with
Oh,
Terry.
so nice to you.
And I don't think anyone's going to be there. I'll send you her response.
Hi. Good morning. Good morning. Hi, Sheldon. Moses is in the corner of the metal.
Okay, I feel like I have more to do. I'm just going to jump off right now, and I will be back on in maybe about 20 minutes, guys. Okay? I'll see you in 20. Love you guys. Bye.
Next is okay.